Sholon Shrew, and welcome to my Let's Play of Star Trek Online on the PS4. I'm the Big B82, and this is part 30 of my Romulan Federation Aligned Tactical Officer. We're about to undertake a side quest missions set, which is Spectres, which once upon a time used to basically be in the Klingon War arc, but used to be around here in the old days, but we're going to go and do it anyway. So because it's a side quest mission, we have to hail for it, so it's incoming hails, and then we'll get it underway. So this is Spectres, so Lieutenant Commander Tal'Mera. Now we remember her from our actions in the infiltration of the Tal'Mera. She was our initial contact that got us in. So we'll speak with the good commander who we haven't spoken to in a long while. So let's hail her.
Something strange has been happening throughout the neutral zone. Go to the Beta Quadrant and meet with Captain Harvson. Was there something you needed?
Always be on the lookout. There are plenty of dangers out there in this galaxy.
Good to see you.
Thank you for contacting me. As you are no doubt aware, the neutral zone is where a lot of the conflict between Starfleet and the Klingon Defense Force happens. I recently came into some interesting intelligence and passed it along to Subcommander Nadal. I'm sure she'll be in touch with further instructions shortly. There's a lot to be done. Starfleet appreciates your help.
You wanted to speak with me?
There's something very strange happening in the Eta Eridani sector block. The last time I was at Drozana Station, there were blue lights flickering on and off, and I swear that I was seeing things. That's not the only thing. There's some odd ship movements by a Cardassian splinter group, and Eta Eridani is way out of the True Way's normal range. When I inquired internally, someone at headquarters put me in touch with Franklin Drake. He's requested that you report to him for the time being. Drake would...
Oops. Cut him off.
Always be. There's something very strange happening in the Eta Eridani sector block. The last time I was at Drozana Station, there were blue lights flickering on and off, and I swear that I was seeing things. That's not the only thing. There's some odd ship movements by a Cardassian splinter group, and Eta Eridani is way out of the True Way's normal range. When I inquired internally, someone at headquarters put me in touch with Franklin Drake. He's requested that you report to him for the time being. Drake wouldn't say there's anything strange happening, although I wouldn't expect someone like him to admit to anything he didn't have to. But he did say there's a matter that requires your immediate attention. Perhaps if you assist him now, he'll be more forthcoming in the future. Patching you through to Drake now.
Oh, I'll cut him off there.
I have a job that requires your specific skills. I expect you to be efficient and discreet. Don't disappoint me.
Who do you report to? Is it Starfleet Intelligence?
Not exactly. I represent an organization devoted to protecting the Federation from all threats, internal and external. Some call us Section 31, and that is as good a name as any. Our methods of defense have been called extreme, even barbaric. But those who oppose us are simply being naive. Cling to your ideals all you want. Will they protect you from the Klingons? What about the Borg? Do you honestly think you can come to some sort of peaceful understanding with the Collective? Of course not. My organization understands the dangers, and we're prepared to face them. You have been identified as someone who can be of use. It would be unfortunate for both of us if that is not the case. Until next time, I always collect my debts. I provided Commander Tal'Mera with assets and materials to assist you in your recent encounters with the Tal'Mera. Now it's your turn to assist me. We have reports of a True Wave fleet entering the neutral zone and picking a fight with the Klingons near the Donatu system. Having two of our enemies fight is good for the Federation, but I want to know why the True Way is so far out of their territory. Intercept them and deal with them. If you need to engage the Klingons as well, do so. A Starfleet task force has already been sent to the area. You'll need to join them in the Donatu system as soon as possible.
Okay,
Until next time.
Let's begin. Let's enter the Donatu system. So yes, we're using an Intel Warbird, a new ship. It's already geared up. It's going to be seeing us through these next 2 story arcs. Might only be through this story arc actually. Might replace it. I'll wait and see. See how she handles. Captain, we're picking up multiple hostile contacts, both Klingon and Trueway. I can understand the Klingons have been here. They've been trying to claim this system for months, but while the Trueway normally don't leave Cardassian space, they have no reasons to be here. They're refusing to respond to our howls, but we have to board one of their ships for some answers. That hurt. Cardassian flagship, the Axion, has been disabled, sir. Warp core is stable for now. Recommend we get a closer look. Right team standing by, sir. Waiting for yours. Let's go. Let's go to the Axion and find out what the heck's going on over there. We already had some dealings with the Trueway before. They were allied with the Tal'Mera early on in our ventures, so we got some details about them. They were transporting Tal'Mera weaponry. Sneaky little shits. So there's no love lost for them. Captain, Cardassian security teams are already starting to move in on our position. We should expect heavy resistance. Number on this bastard, didn't we? So I don't know what the hell they were doing. That should take care of all security measures between us and the bridge. I don't expect the Cardassians to give up that easily though. They will probably send more security teams to intercept us. I shouldn't need to defend their ship. It's their ship after all. What the fuck was that? Did you see that? Yes, I did. Captain, what were those things? Sir, this Cardassian doesn't have any wounds on him, but my readings show he was dead before we entered this room. I recommend that we find a med kit and perform an examination of the corpse. We need to know more about what happened to him. If he was attacked by those creatures, we need to be cautious, and contact may be lethal. There it was again. If there's something wrong with the environmentals on this ship. So this Cardassian looks like died from some cause. From the same cause as the Cardassian we examined in the mess hall. We need to find a med kit to know more about what happened to them. All the medical equipment in this kit has been sterilised and is ready for use. This med kit is a variety of standard medical tools available for use. However, before using the med kit is to examine the remains of the Cardassian in the mess hall, it would be beneficial to study the medical records of the corpses in the stasis in the sick bay. The background data on these patients may prepare you for an examination of the remains in the mess hall. Okay. Patient admitted for plasma burns caused by an exploding EPS conduit. The wound was treated using a photophaser. And the patient was admitted to sick bay for sedation and observation. Patient suffered from neurological event resembling a cardiovascular accident that, while sedated, was unable to be resuscitated. Further examination into the patient's death is pending an autopsy by the CMO. Patient admitted for fracture or suffered while in the holodeck. The bone was splintered and treated with a regenerator. Patient returned later complaining of pain in the treated leg as if it was elevated, as well as an elevated body temperature. Patient was then treated with a T-cell stimulant to stave off any possible infection. Patient's condition continued to worsen while they were being continually treated to boost their immune response. Patient died 2.6 hours later after injury. Due to the extreme rate of deterioration in the patient as an infection is unlikely, fear of contagious agent being responsible has resulted in the quarantine protocols being enacted. A cause of death is yet to be determined. Corpse is to be placed in status field pending further examination by the CMO. I guess the Chief Medical Officer never got round to it. Patient admitted complaining of extreme nausea and fatigue. Preliminary exams inconclusive. Patient held for overnight observations during which condition worsened. Patient died at 23:52 hours. Quarantine protocols put in place by CMO's orders and level 8 force field in use to prevent the spread of unknown possible infectious agent. Force field may not be disabled without command level voice authorization. An autopsy of the patient was conducted using a laser scalpel to open the chest cavity. All organs were intact and showed no signs of trauma or infection, which would explain the patient's demise. Cause of death remains undetermined pending further investigation. Patient admitted complaining of pain and inability to concentrate on assigned duties. Patient was treated for hydrocodone and told to rest. Psychological evaluation was scheduled. Patient returned several hours later saying that neither the medication nor the rest had helped. Patient was treated with a larger dose of hydrocodone and admitted to sick bay for observation. During this period, patient fell unconscious and was unable to be revived. An autopsy concluded using a neural probe to obtain the sample of brain tissue. Examination of the neural tissue did not show any signs of infection or trauma that would result in headaches or fatality. Poor bastards. Patient admitted with severe infection suffering while working in engineering. The wound was closed using an auto-suture, and the patient was released with instructions to refrain from active duty and to return for another examination in 24 hours. Patient returned as instructed, complaining of headache, elevated body temperature and nausea. White cell count was elevated and preliminary analysis showed signs of systematic infection resulting in the contamination of a wound site. Patient was held in sick bay for treatment and observation. However, the infection spread rapidly and treatment with standard antibiotics was unsuccessful. A more rigorous treatment regime was formulated but also proved unsuccessful. Patient's vital functions ceased. Cause of death, circulatory system failure resulting in sepsis. Patient's body is being prepared for transport back to Cardassian Prime. Right. So this guy there, so it's used the medkit. All the medical equipment in this kit has been sterilised, so let's auto studio? No. Nephalite probe. Captain, that tool should give us better insight to the cause of death of the Cardassian in the mess hall. If we use the Neolite to obtain a sample of one of the Cardassian's brain tissue, we might be able to determine the cause of death. This is new. The Neolite probe has determined that this individual died of a radical decrease in neural energy. Also, it's almost as if he was drained by an outside source. All of the brain activity came to a complete stop as the energy was depleted. Sir, there's a great deal of interference being picked up by the tricorder, most likely a result of energy residue from whatever was used to do to this Cardassian. Perhaps we can track down by following the energy trail. There's a science lab across the hall and from the med bay. We should have access to the ship's internal sensors. Okay. Okay, so let's start off with the electroplasma. Electroplasma is used for several unknown species as a means of transferring power from a central power source to outlying areas of ships or outposts. Plasma serves as an efficient medium for maintaining a high state of energy, even when moved over great distances or allowed to sit unused for long periods of time. For this reason, energized electroplasma can be stored in plasma canisters for transport and still arrive in an unusable state. This is picking up high levels of electroplasma throughout the ship, but it's not surprising considering that the Cardassians use poorly shielded DPS relays. There are no anomalous readings from the scan. Nuclear fission reaction. Nuclear fission is a common source of energy for non-spacefaring races. It provides a large amount of power for relative little special knowledge. With relative little special knowledge. It is an unsuitable power source for interstellar travel. While races such as humans have used this source of power in the past, it has been surpassed by more efficient means of energy production, which has not resulted in toxic waste byproducts or can be severely damaged organic life. There's no signs of any nuclear fission reactions taking place at this time. Omega. All information on Omega energy is classified. There is no Omega molecules anywhere inside the ship, Captain. What are Omega molecules? Top secret. Polaric ions. Polar ions are used as a form of energy. However, they are highly volatile and prone to subspace chain reactions. These reactions have been known to create subspace fractures to make warp travel impossible, as well as create hazardous amounts of polaric radiation. Okay, and lastly but not least, triolic waves. Triolic rays are a result of a process called selective molecule polarization, which is a substance modified by a fundamental level convert matter to energy. Triolic energy is not used by any known species because they are known to cause deterioration in living tissue. Pick up a large concentration of triolic waves centered around the ship's bridge, Captain. Triolic waves are harmful for humanoids. We will not be able to be in the area for long, and the Cardassians would be subject to deleterious effects as well. They would not knowingly use triolic waves. I suggest we take a closer look. Whoever is causing the triolic waves probably is responsible for the deaths of the Cardassians in the mess hall. Captain, he's heading to the bridge. Well, lock and load then, ladies and gentlemen. I suspect we're in for a fight. Deviants. Well, I actually watched the episode with these. Just recently watched the episode with these guys. Times Arrow. Die, fucker. There's no mistaking them now, Captain. Those were Deviants. What's curious though is that the Deviants are out of phase with us. Normally we can't see them without a subspace force field tuned to an extremely sensitive phase discrimination. We didn't have that, so how are they appearing in our reality? I recommend checking the Axon's crew log entries. Maybe they were doing something that made it easier for the Deviants to exist here. Captain's log.
Our mission goes well. The Axon has disabled or destroyed 7 enemy ships. I look forward to reporting our successes. The chief medical officer is concerned about casualties. It is his job to be concerned. Mine is to operate this ship at peak efficiency. I have read his report about unexplained deaths and dismissed it. There is always an explanation. He simply hasn't looked hard enough for it. I cannot let his failings disrupt our mission. Gola Dread is looking for men of purpose to assist him. He wants leaders with the will to use whatever means are necessary to free our people from Federation tyranny. If all goes well, after this campaign, I will be seen as one of those leaders.
Chief Engineer's log.
Repairs to the accident was suspected. Running low on deuterium and warp core. Wish there was more time between battles to do more than patch critical systems. But time is the most precious of abilities. 4 crewmen down. 1 died in battle with our forces, but 3 others died in accidents. I have spoken to the captain about launching an investigation, but he sees nothing but his dreams of glory and return to conquest. Unusual spike in triology range. Maybe a friend to the warp core efficiency. Must speak to triology to see if his sensor readings have turned up anything unusual. Letter from Maja arrived today. She and the children. But she worries about me. She wants me to leave the troop and return to Cardassian Line. 6 months ago, I would have ignored her. Now, and I see no end to this fight. Perhaps she was right.
And read the Chief's Science Officer's log.
Science Officer's log, stardate 86790.8. My duties on a combat mission are limited, but I was pleased today to have a chance to scan the approaching Griffin's Comet. The comet itself has not been a focus of much scientific inquiry, and it last passed through this sector in the late 23rd century. My scans, however, reveal surprising amounts of triolic wave energy emitting from the comet, as well as detectable amounts of chronoton particles. The triolic waves will unfortunately prevent a closer study of the comet. They are quite harmful to humanoid life forms, and the captain is loath to jeopardize our mission for my curiosity. I have requested the launch of a Class 1 probe. The chronotons are of even greater interest. They appear in instances of temporal disturbances, which could mean that this comet has been, or will be, in the presence of a temporal event. Time mechanics are so cumbersome. I must have more data. But the captain has never had much interest in science. Perhaps I will remind him that chronoton particles are harmful against the aliens who live in the Bajoran wormhole. A potential weapon to use against the Bajoran's gods may be of enough interest to him to divert our course.
Well, Captain, we should return to the RRW if we want to report the route to Romulan Command and our allies in Starfleet. I believe that they would want to know that there are deviants in the neutral zone. These battlegrounds are now their feeding grounds.
Are you sure you found no sign of the Cardassians attempting to open a portal, or otherwise bring the Davidians into our phase variants? This is troublesome. There are pieces to the puzzle I don't have yet. Let me do some digging and I will be in touch.
And we'll get the...
Until next time.
Congratulations, Admiral.
Yeah, until next time. I agree with you, Franklin. So, thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe, comments are appreciated, and that is the end of part 30. And I'll see you in part 31. Spin the wheel, and we're going to get to go and play some Dubbo for an hour. Well, no, I do want to play some Dubbo though. So, until then, thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe, comments are welcome, and I appreciate it. Thumbs up. and I will see you in part 31. Chill on true. Ciao for now.